one more for me. Shakur Stevenson is the one person who continues to say your name. He got into the ring and you guys exchanged some words. What was said there, and do you see you and him crossing paths at some point?
Yeah, I just said that I'm number one. I just let him know that I'm number one, and that's when he said for now. But right now I'm number one. So I didn't.
Bob ain't said his name.
I didn't. Yeah, Bob hasn't said his name at all. But
Bob ain't said his name. My phone ain't ringing.
But no, what's the name? Of course, I've been very vocal about that. Me and Shakur are on a collision course. Whether it's at 135, whether it's at 140, whether it's at 147, we definitely on a collision course, and we definitely gonna get it on when the time is right.
Devin, congratulations. I have a question. Given everything you go through to make 135, what you've admitted, short of a fight against one of those names you mentioned, or a Tank Davis or a Shakur, if those fights are not possible, would you be more inclined just to move up to 140?
Yeah, if I can't get those fights next, or it doesn't make sense for it to be next, I'll probably go to 140, test it out, see how I feel at the weight at 140, and then when the time is right, then I'll defend my belt at 135. We'll just see though. I got to go back and talk with the team and see what makes the most sense. That's really all it boils down to. I'm very disciplined in the sport of boxing. In life in general. So that's how I've been able to make 135 for so long. But eventually, I'm gonna outgrow the weight, and it's getting to that point. But if it makes sense, it makes sense.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew, those were the words from the undefeated, undisputed lightweight champion of the world, Devin Haney. I'm going to replay those words later on in this segment because I'm actually going to break down what Devin Haney should be saying at this point, and we're going to discuss what should happen next from the boxing community, from a fans, and even from a business or manager and or promoter's perspective. But before we do that, I must first welcome each and every one of you that's watching this live. I welcome you. If you are watching the replay of this live, I welcome you as well. In the chat, I have been acknowledged and recognized in the chat. So I want to say I welcome you all in the chat. Salute to all of you that found it not robbery to be here tonight on the Roll the Tape podcast with Manager Marty. I appreciate your viewership. I appreciate your support. And let me thank you in advance. I thank you and appreciate all of the contributions that you all are going to make tonight to continue to enhance the educational and entertainment value of this channel so that I may in turn increase and improve the visual and the audio quality of the content that I publish and produce on this channel. Now that I've gotten that all out the way, we have a stacked card of boxing tonight. Salute to each and every one of you in the chat. Welcome. You don't have to ring the doorbell when you come in. You don't have to dust your feet off when you come in my house because the door is unlocked for you and you are all welcome. We're going to discuss so much tonight. I promise you, you are in for a treat tonight. I am going to do something that most people may not think it's popular to do, but I'm going to do it because I think that there's a form of educational and entertainment value attached to it. Y'all know I like having fun, right? And so let me just put it out there now, since we are in the beginning and the preliminary stages of the broadcast. I want three. We're going to designate a small portion of the segment to three lucky contestants tonight. Three Terrence Bud Crawford fans. Yeah. Three. Not all at the same time, but I'm going to designate a small portion of this broadcast to three lucky contestants to join me live on this broadcast. Okay, the qualification is you have to be a Terrence Bud Crawford fan. And the reason why is because I have a few questions that I want to ask you as a fan. Because YSM Sports Media published some content today, and in the content, he produced an interview that him and I did, and he interviewed me, and I said some things about Terrence Bud Crawford that has gotten me into some more heap of trouble with people in YSM Sports Media's comments section. And I was insulted again and again and again. And you know what my response is, right? I laugh again and again and again. But I just want to ask questions now, because I want us to be on the same page, even if we disagree. So anyone joining the live, come on in, because you will be entertained tonight, not just because of that, but also you will be educated tonight, because that's what Roll the Tape Podcast with Manager Marty provides: education and entertainment. Some people call it, what do they call it? Edutainment. Somebody in my chat a while ago called it edutainment. So we'll call it edutainment, right? So we have a stat card of boxing to discuss tonight. Salute to Diana. She is a member of this channel. I welcome you, Diana. Thank you for your support. Peace and blessings to you and your family. I keep saying I'm gonna do it, right? And sometimes I forget. And every time I try to do it, right, it doesn't pop up as a link. So I'm going to actually, in the description of this broadcast later tonight, right, when this is all done in my post editing, I'm going to make sure I insert the join button. I don't know why YouTube didn't put it on the channel yet, and I got to keep typing in the actual link. And it's like, instead of the viewer actually clicking the link, they don't allow you to click it. But I do have the membership functionality on this channel. For anyone who wants to become a member of this channel, there's 3 different tiers and perks that's associated with the membership. I will discuss that in a little bit. But for right now, I just want to make sure that we solidify all of the preliminaries so we can jump right into what we came here to do tonight, and that's to talk the business and the sport of boxing. We got some Devin Haney to talk about tonight. If you're just joining us live, I just played a replay of Devin Haney's full post-fight press conference versus Lomochenko. And it was just probably like a minute and a half of some of the things that he said when he was asked a few questions. I'm going to break a little bit of that down in this segment. I'm going to ask you all for your feedback on whether or not Devin Haney should give Lomochenko a rematch. Should he sign another deal or a one-fight deal with Top Rank again? Should he become a free agent, which he already is? What should Devin Haney do next? Should he fight Tank Davis? We're going to discuss all of those particulars tonight. And I did a poll, a live poll in the community post, where I asked what is a bigger fan interest? Terrence Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. or Devin Haney versus Tank Davis? So I would love to hear your feedback in the chat. If you're watching a replay of this segment, I would love to hear your feedback in the comments section below. But before we move forward with our segment, y'all know we have to do our icebreaker. And that is, of course, our Town Watch check-in. So, as the numbers are slowly increasing, when I say numbers, I'm talking about the viewership, right? I want to be able to just get this out the way. Let's do our Town Watch check-in. It's Tuesday evening. We're live in living color on another unknown episode. I love how I say that. Another unknown episode of Roll the Tape Podcast with Manager Marty. We're going to do our Town Watch check-in, and then we're going to get to some boxing talk. Now, if you're just joining us, real soon, I might even do this in the beginning. So you got to come on and check on in now. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. If you're watching this live, I would like for you to participate in the chat when this segment happens, because I'm going to do something very special tonight for 3 lucky contestants. And those lucky contestants must qualify with one piece of criteria, and that is to be a Terrence Bud Crawford fan exclusively. That's right. 3 Terrence Bud Crawford fans. I'm going to put the link in the chat, pin it to the top. This is still an open panel. This is still an open panel live segment. But before we open the panel up, I want 3 Terrence Bud Crawford fans to come on the channel. Live broadcast. I have some questions that I want to ask you as a fan of Terrence Crawford. What inspired this piece of segment that's going to happen tonight? Several different things, including the live that I published just yesterday. On this very channel, I had my guy, my family, D-Town Boxing here with me, and we still were being berated and even insulted, and even shots were thrown at us in the chat and, of course, the comment sections. And then I did an interview with YSM Sports Media. It was a recent interview, but he published it today. The interview didn't happen today, but he published it today. And Terrence Bud Crawford fans were, oh my goodness, they were trying to cook me in his comment section. And I mean, by the hundreds. It's not like it was like 10 comments. I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds of comments. I think that video, if I'm not mistaken, he published that video earlier today. And that video, to my understanding, I just want to get all the numbers right. To my understanding, right now, that video that that him and I did, it has over 4,000 views. That was about 9 hours ago. Has over about 4,000 views, but the comments section is, oh my gosh, they slicing me up in the comments section, which is great. You all know how I respond to that, right? Yeah, I get a kick out of stuff like that. I think it's entertaining. But I want 3 lucky Terrence Bud Crawford fans to join me live tonight, right here on this segment. I have a few questions that I want to ask. Let's have some dialogue about this, about whatever. But I got the questions. And you all, as Terrence Bud Crawford fans, y'all might have some questions for Manager Marty. We don't know, but this is not scripted, y'all. I don't do scripts. The only time you'll ever see Manager Marty use a script is when I am rehearsing for a stage play or a short film, which I do have a lot of experience with that, but I haven't been on stage or in front of a camera as an actor in I want to say a few years now. But everything else is live and living color, no script. But we're gonna talk boxing tonight. Let's get this out the way. Our Town Watch check-in. Salute to everybody that has been acknowledging me in the chat. Salute to everyone that's joining me live in living color. I welcome you. Oh, I forgot to welcome my other piece of audience. I got to welcome everybody. I welcome you. If you are a spy, a troll, a detractor, a hater, whatever your reason is, I welcome you tonight. I know you're here. You might not be in the chat, but I know you're here. You might be hiding in the background. I know you're here, and I welcome you. I'm glad you're here because you're going to learn something about the business of boxing today, and I'm sure you're going to be entertained. So I appreciate your viewership. Let's get into our Town Watch check-in because we need answers. I'm going to start it off first, as I always do, and in the chat, y'all know what to do. If you're just joining this channel for the first time or even the second time, and you may not be familiar with our icebreaker, our Town Watch check-in, the Town Watch check-in is very, very simple. If you're watching live, you can join the chat and you can participate. If you're watching the replay of this live, you can also join in the comment section below. And what the Town Watch check-in is, it's an opportunity for each and every last one of us on this broadcast, if you're watching us live and even the replay of this live, to be able to acknowledge that even though we are representing our geographical location, where we were born and raised at, or where we reside now, city, state, island, and or country, we share at least one thing in common. Irregardless of our walk of life, irregardless of our ethnic background, irregardless of our race, irregardless of our social status, irregardless of our economic status, irregardless of our religious belief system or the lack thereof, we all have at least one thing in common. And that is we love the sport of boxing. And so that's what we do on this channel, because this is an all-inclusive channel, because we have one thing in common, and that is the sport of boxing and our love for the sport. So I'm going to start it off first in the chat. When you insert your location, whether it be where you were born and raised and or by way of where you are locating now, I am going to publicly acknowledge you and your location when you come in. Y'all ready? Okay, here we go. Y'all know what it is. I'm representing DFW area, one of the biggest states in the country. Yes, indeed. Texas, that is. Absolutely. And by way of my hometown, the great city of Philadelphia, state of Pennsylvania. I got to say Pennsylvania too, because there's a city called Philadelphia in the state of Mississippi. But I'm not representing it. I represent Philly. Philadelphia by way of Pennsylvania. Y'all know how much I love the state of Texas. Now that we got that out the way, let me acknowledge who else is here. We got Dayton, Ohio in the building. Absolutely. Who else we got in here? Come on, let's check in. Let's check in. Baltimore in the building. We still on the East Coast. Over there in D.C. I see you in the building, D.C. Who else we got in here? Come on, check on in. Check on in. Who else we got in here? Queen City in the building. I see you. Who else we got in here? Who else we got? Come on, man. Y'all got to check on in. Salute to all the ladies in the chat. Salute to all the viewers that are women. You know, I always take a piece of my segment out to salute the ladies in the chat, to salute the female viewers, because you all keep the sport of boxing running as well. You play an integral role in this sport. So I appreciate your support, your viewership in the chat, your participation. Thank you so much, ladies. Really, really appreciate it. Fellas, don't take that personal. Y'all know Manager Marty smooth like that. So don't, just relax, okay? What else we got in here? What else we got in here? Alaska is in the building. Woo! Chattanooga, Tennessee is in the building. Who else we got in here? Let's go. Triple D in the building. Suffolk, Virginia here. Midwest. Y'all know, come on now. When I say the big D, it ain't just Dallas when I say the big D. When I say the big D, I'm talking about Detroit as well. Detroit in the building. Who else we got in here? H-Town. Yes, indeed. College Station, Texas is in the building. Austin, Texas is in the building. Come on, y'all. We got to travel down south a little bit. ATL is in the building. Iowa is also in the building. Who else we got in here? Oh, okay. Philly in the house by way of Somerville. You know, I know where that's at. Absolutely. Nashville, Tennessee is in the building. Woo! Colorado is here. My guy, Mike Harrison, he always shut the live down. From Maryville, Indiana is in the building. Woo! I see you from Oak Cliff, Texas. Oak Cliff, Texas is in the building. See, I got tongue-tied when I said that. I thought about stop 6. That's why I got a little tongue-tied. You know what I mean? You got to make a phone call before you run up and stop 6. You hear me? You got to know somebody up and stop 6. You hear me? Oak Cliff in the building. J-Rock from D.C., I see you. That's my boy J-Rock. What's good? What's good? Where we at? Who else is here? Who else is here? Come on in. Check on in. Did I say Nashville? I don't know, but I'm going to say it again if I did already. Nashville, Tennessee is in the building. Who else we got in here? Check on in. We got a few more minutes. Come on and check on in. Yes, indeed. Over there near the desert. Phoenix, Arizona is in the building. Come on in. Check on in. The viewership is increasing exponentially. Come on in. Don't just stand there and just sit on the sideline. Come on and participate. I welcome you. This show is for you. Come on in and participate. Jackson, Mississippi is in the building. Yes, indeed. Come on in. Come on in. I see you in the chat, Mr. Gregory. Absolutely. Come on in. Come on in. Who else is here? Yes, we're going to have a good show this evening. Ooh, we got some good boxing to talk about tonight. Yes, indeed. Who else we got in here? Who else? Yes. That's it? Nobody else want me to check in? That's it? It don't matter how small, medium, or large my audience is, Manager Marty is always going to be on point to provide you all with good content every chance I get. Los Angeles, California on the West Coast is in the building. Absolutely. Who else we got in here? Come on, let's check on in. Real quick. Before we move on. Man, we got a good show. Good show tonight. Yes, come on in. Houston, Texas is in the building. We got the West Coast, Midwest, down south, East Coast. Man, we got everybody here. Let's go. Who else we got in here? Yes, indeed. H-Town in the building. Yes. That's it? Y'all done? No, y'all not done. Chi-Town, Windy City. Woo! I felt that breeze. As soon as you came in here, Windy City, I felt that breeze. Chi-Town 773 is here. Woo! Louisiana in the building. I see you, Louisiana. Got a couple people I know. Got my folks out in Shreveport. Yes, indeed. Atlanta. Got folks in, I got folks in Chi-Town too. I got folks in A-Town too. Atlanta in the building. Who else we got here? I know somebody from LA too. I only know like one person. I don't know if that count or not, but I do know somebody from LA. Who else we got in here? That's it? We done the check-in? Y'all let me know. And listen, even if we move on to something else, if you still want to participate, you can, even if you came in late and you just want to drop your location, you're included as well. I promise you, I'll make sure I acknowledge you. But the air fryer is warming up tonight. Oh, yes, the air fryer is warming up tonight. And let me say this because the new audience is just joining us. We have a good show. Panama City, Florida is in the building. Salute. We have a good show tonight. I am going to dedicate a small portion of this segment tonight for 3 lucky contestants. And the criteria for the lucky contestant to join this live broadcast, you have to be an Errol Spence fan. Now, I know some of you are familiar with Mr. Gregory. This does not apply to Mr. Gregory because Mr. Gregory have been on this panel several times. So, Mr. Gregory, if you're listening, I know you're in the chat, but if you are listening, this does not apply to you, because I've already asked you a few questions already, and you seem to have a good head on your shoulder, Mr. Gregory. You are very mature and wise for your age, and I respect you greatly. And so this doesn't apply to you. You've been more realistic with your fan base as far as how you feel about Crawford. And we respect you on this channel as well. So I am talking to 3 other contestants that are Terrence Bud Crawford fans. I didn't say Crawford, Big Ray? Who I say? Yeah, I was talking about Crawford. Yeah. If you are a Terrence Bud Crawford fan, I have a few questions I want to ask you. And I am going to fly a kite in the chat. You know what I mean when I say fly a kite? I'm going to drop that link. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop that link in the chat. I want you to come on up. Please don't come all at once. I want you all individually to come up. I have some questions for you. Oh, yes. And I'm sure you may have some questions for me or even some comments for me. Oh, I said Spence, my fault. I meant to say Crawford. Yes, I am referring to Terrence Bud Crawford fans. If you are exclusively a Terrence Bud Crawford fan, I am going to fly a kite in the chat by way of a link where you can click it and come on here, because I have some questions that I want to ask you as a fan of Terrence Bud Crawford. And before we even move forward with any other thing, let me acknowledge my guy, Jay Miller. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. Jay Miller says, gotta throw the first punch. Absolutely. And I also want to say this to anyone that's going to donate and contribute to this channel. I want to thank you in advance right now. Thank you for your support, your unwavering support, because it helps grow this channel so that I can continue to improve the visual and audio experience for you, so that I can designate more of my time to produce great content, quality content for you. J-Rock is also in the chat. He is also excluded from being a contestant because him, like I said about Mr. Greg, has already been on this panel several times. So I want to give my audience some fresh bread tonight so that we all can feast from the air fryer. So those 3 lucky contestants of Terrence Bud Crawford fans, that's who I'm really referring to. Now, we got some good boxing to talk about tonight. We're not going to waste any more time. Let's talk about it. If you're just joining the live, you may have missed it. I played a 1.5 minute segment of Devin Haney's post-fight press conference comments versus Lomochenko that he made several weeks ago. I want to provide some business perspective on that, okay? But first, let me get down to my guy. Thank you so much, Jay Cooley, always supporting the channel. Thank you for your contribution, Jay Cooley. And Jay Cooley says, what up, fam? These Bud fans are delusional. They scared. They are not the brightest crayon in the box and very emotional. Those were the words from Jay Cooley. Thank you, Jay, for your contribution and your support to the channel. Now, I am also going to break down what should happen next, in my opinion, from a business perspective, based on the words that Devin Haney said himself. We're going to chop and screw all of that up, because the question on the floor tonight basically is, should there be a rematch between Vasily Lomachenko and Devin Haney? And I want all of you to engage in the chat about it, not right now. Oh, we got some other business to take care of first. Not right now. We're going to discuss that later on in this segment. This is still an open panel discussion, but I'm not going to drop the link for the panelists or anyone else that want to become a guest on the platform regarding these other topics, because first I want to fly the kite and draw attention to the three lucky contestants of Terrence Bud Crawford fans who is going to join us live. So we're going to talk about whether or not Devin Haney and Lomochenko should engage in a rematch. And there was a poll that I put out. On the community page, probably about, I want to say about an hour ago, maybe. Yeah, about an hour ago. And the question was basically that I asked was about the fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford, and about the potential fight between Tank Davis and Devin Haney, and what fight will generate more interest from the fans. Which fight? We're going to discuss that. I would love your engagement in the chat. We're not going to do it just yet. But first, what I want to talk about with everybody in the chat, me and D-Town Boxing, we were here yesterday on a very special holiday live, and we basically talked about who we think is a better trainer, who would be more beneficial to their fighters in the fight with Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Bud Crawford. And that is the trainer of Errol Spence, Derek James, and then the trainer Bomac, who is the trainer of Terrence Crawford. So we're going to dive into a little bit of that in the chat in just a few seconds. So we are going to dive into it. Let me put the comments up. Let me see what the comments. So in the chat, quick question. Let's start this off right. Who do you all think in the chat? If you're watching the replay of this live, you can also comment in the comment section below. Who do you all think will be more beneficial to their fighter in this fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Bud Crawford? Would it be the trainer of Terrence Crawford, Mr. Bomac, who you see on your screen to your right, or will it be Errol Spence Jr.'s trainer, who is on your left, Derek James? Derek James also trains Jermell Charlo, who is the undisputed junior middleweight champion of the world. And also, well, at least that's what the media is telling us, that Ryan Garcia went over there to have Derek James train him. And Anthony Joshua also had Derek James training him, particularly in his last fight. And I think he still have Anthony Joshua under his tutelage. And Bomac, we know he trains Terrence Crawford. I think he trains some other fighters, but most notably Keyshawn Davis, up and coming fighter. So I see only 3 people responded in the chat. Everybody's saying DJ or Coach DJ, which stands for Derek James. Anyone else? Come on, let's dialogue about this as the viewership numbers are increasing exponentially. I am about to fly the kite in the chat while you all are commenting and giving me your feedback and answer so that 3 lucky contestants of Terrence Bud Crawford fans can join me live. I have some questions, and I'm sure they do too. At least they have some comments, and we're going to dive into it and deal with it this evening. Someone says Bomac. Some other people are saying DJ. Who else? What else do we have? What other opinions do we have? Derek James or Bomac? Let's talk about it tonight in the chat. Who else we got? Who else we got? Derrick James or Bomac? Who else do we have? Who's the better trainer? Who is the trainer that will be more enforceful? More of the trainer that's going to provide two things that trainers are gifted and skilled in, the two areas of providing instruction and motivation in this fight. Okay, now I see someone in the background. Link is in the chat too. Link is in the chat. It's pinned to the chat. That's the kite that was just flown out for 3 Terrence Bud Crawford fans. I am not referring to J-Rock. I am not referring to Gregory Quarterbomb. I'm really not referring to Terrence Best Videos. Those guys have been on this panel several times, and I'm not referring to them. Those guys are respectful Terrence Bud Crawford fans, whether we agree or not. So I just want to hold off on those 3 for now. So they're right now. But there's other Terrence Bud Crawford fans that's in this chat or just watching us live in the background that's not in the chat. And one at a time. One at a time. Just 3. I am going to designate a segment of this broadcast live for Terrence Bud Crawford fans. I have questions. We need answers. You have questions and comments for me, and we also still need answers. Link in the chat, though. Link is pinned to the chat. Okay? Okay, someone is in the background by the name, well, the letter D. D, I would ask you to do one thing before I involve you or include you into the live broad stream. If you can turn your camera off, D. Oak Cliff in the building. I see you in the chat. Oak Cliff, Texas. I see you in the chat. Salute. If you can turn your camera off, or rather turn your camera on, rather, so that I could see that you are a human, that you are a person and not just a troll, so that we can engage as humans, because you know one thing that we all love on YouTube is human interaction. So D, if you're listening, you're in the back, I will allow you to join the segment, but I would love for you to at least turn your camera, what is it, off or on? Or at least show your face, so I'll know that you are not a troll and oh, you just got off. Okay. Well, the link is still pinned to the chat. And before I can ask anyone else to show their face, the first thing I'm going to do is show mine. Yes, I have to show my face. You might be wondering why I'm wearing this vest. Okay, now this vest that I'm wearing right now, it's not an actual BPV, but I'm just using it as a prop tonight as a BPV. I don't have to use the word because you know YouTube don't like certain words. So I'm not going to say the words, but you all should know what a BPV is. The letter V stands for vest. This vest is going to be my protective shield, because all day, as I was reading the comments, not all of the comments, but some of the comments, in a video that I did with YSM Sports Media recently, he published it today, in the shots that was fired upon me from Terrence Bud Crawford fans. Man, I was dodging them all day. So I have my vest on today, my BPV, because there's 3 lucky contestants who should be exclusive Terrence Bud Crawford fans to come join me live right here on the Roll the Tape podcast with Manager Marty. We're all waiting. People in the chat are waiting. The viewership is increasing exponentially. The viewers are waiting. People that's going to be watching the replay of this live is still waiting, and so am I. Come on up. Link is pinned to the chat. Terrence Bud Crawford fans, just 3 of you. Not all at the same time. Come on down. I have some questions I want to ask you. We need answers. In fact, you have some comments that you want to say to me and some questions. So I'm going to give you the platform to do so. So come on. Yeah, somebody said the word John Williams in the chat. Absolutely. Come on down now. I've heard enough all day. I've heard enough yesterday. From the Philippines is in the chat. Salute. All the way from the Philippines. We got people all across the world that tunes into this channel, and they're waiting for you. Terrence Bud Crawford fan, come on in. We had one person that I think the letter of the name was D. Once I said show the face, they jumped right off. I don't know, but I have a few questions that I just want to ask you, and I think it will be more beneficial for all of the viewers that are always here supporting this channel for entertainment and educational purposes to be able to experience you coming on here live. So that's what we want to do. Come on down. Is the link still in the chat? I want to make sure that it's still pinned to the top. Can someone tell me if it is or not? I can't see it from on my end. Can someone tell me if the link is pinned to the chat or not? I want to make sure people can see the link if it's pinned to the chat. Okay, so that's a yes. Okay, it is there. Michael. Oh, the guy Michael. Him right here. Him. Yes, Michael. The link. It's pinned to the top, Michael. Remember yesterday when I did the live, I told you come on in tomorrow because you asked for the link. I think you did. Yeah, man, I remember you saying something about that, Mike. You can come on through. You know that. Come on through, Mike. You asked for it yesterday. Come on in. We got a film study. Film study. I believe he was also on the on this panel before. Film study. Are you there, film study? I don't know if it's really you or not, film study. Can you do me a favor, film study? Can you let me see your face briefly? You can turn your camera back off when you come on. But I just want to make sure that there's going to be human interaction, that I'm not talking to a fake film study or someone that's just using your name and or your not logo, but yeah, I guess logo or avatar before I bring you on, film study. Could you do that? Richmond, Virginia in the chat. I see you. Salute. Film study, are you there in the back? Can you show? Just turn your camera on so I can see your face for a little bit. I always do this to everybody, so it's nothing personal. My guy, there you go. Film study. All right, film. I got you. Hold on. This is film study. Hold on, film study. I want to make sure the layout is proper for you. So this is film study. Film study. I have a few questions, film study. You are a Terrence Bud Crawford fan, correct, film study?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. All right, hold on, film. Let me do this. That link that's in the chat, right? I have that link up there.
It's only for the Bud fans?
Huh?
It's only for the Crawford fans?
Yes, because I have some questions I want to ask them. Now, the link is going to be there because I'm going to open the panel up for people that want to come on and talk about the other things that we're going to talk about this evening. So if you want, you could jump off for a second, stay in the chat, and then when I'm done with the Terrence Bud Crawford fans, if they show up or not, Then I'm going to open the panel up for everybody else because we're going to talk about Devin Haney, Lomochenko, and some other things we're going to talk about. That's fair enough, Phil?
Yeah, I got you, Manager Marty.
My God, salute, man. I look forward to bringing you back on in a few minutes.
All right, thank you.
My God. All right, now, listen now. Now we got people that joining now. The numbers, the viewership. I get excited, y'all, when I see the viewership just increasing by the numbers. They're all waiting. I have my vest on tonight. Yeah. This is my Kevlar for the night. This is my vest right here. 40th Street Black. You was here yesterday. 40th Street, right? 40th Street. Link is pinned to the chat. 40th Street Black. You're more than welcome to join us right now. The other guy, Michael, you was here yesterday too, in the chat. Y'all were real active in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Come on down. You're more than welcome. I told y'all yesterday I was going to do this, so it's no like sneak this, no surprise. And I told y'all I was going to do this. And we're all waiting for you. I just want 3 Terrence Ball Crawford fans. I am designating a small portion of this live broadcast right now for 3 lucky Terrence Ball Crawford fans to come join me on the live broadcast on this one-on-one dialogue. I got some questions I want to ask, and I'm sure there are some answers that you all can provide. In fact, according to my chat, according to my comment sections and my videos about Crawford, and according to the content that YSM Sports Media put out when he's interviewing me, and in his comment section, Terrence Ball Crawford fans have so much to say, like they want to ask Manager Marty a question. And so I have my vest on because there were shots being fired at me all week, including today. So now I'm going to give the opportunity for 3, just 3, lucky Terrence Ball Crawford fans, come join me live. Have some questions I want to ask you. Everybody's waiting. That's why the numbers are just increasing exponentially. And on top of that, I do want to encourage you all that's here live and live in color. Click the like button so that this education and entertainment can reverberate all around the world. We got people live watching us from all walks of life all around the world, and we respect and salute all of you viewers. I welcome you. The link is pinned to the chat. I got my Kevlar, I got my vest on for all the shots that were thrown at me, and I'm ready to have a small, very brief dialogue. I got some questions I want to ask Terrence Ball Crawford fans. Where are you? I just have just a few questions to ask, and I want to give you an opportunity to ask me some questions or make some comments to Manager Marty. We're all waiting. Link is in the chat and it's pinned to the chat, and we don't want to wait all night for y'all. We've had these things happen in the past, didn't we, Roll the Tape film crew members, where the link was out there and people don't show up? Or the people that were saying things about Manager Marty, they run on somebody else's platform instead of clicking the link and coming on down here on my live to tell me themselves. So we dealt with all of that in the past. So now, so now we have people that can get the opportunity. Oh no, I didn't say it was personal, 40th Street Black. This is never, listen, when you see me talking on YouTube, it's never personal. It's just business. I'm only on YouTube. It's business. So, 40th Street Black, you were one of the guys that were active in the chat yesterday. And I told you if you wanted to come on the live today, I think you were defending Crawford. I said you could, and the guy Michael and some other people that's still here. So we're still waiting. I'm trying to figure out what's the stalling for. We've seen Crawford stall for a whole year or two. We don't need no more of his fans stalling either. Let's get in the chat because the people are, if I showed you how many people that are watching this live right now, they're waiting for 3, just 3, Terrence Ball Crawford fans to come join this live broadcast tonight because I have a vest on. The shots that have been fired at me for 7 months. But more recently, as of today, and the interview that I did with YSM Sports Media, I didn't do the interview today, but he published it today. and there was some. Oh man, I'm talking about bow, 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 bow. I'm like, woo! But I laughed. It was very funny. So come on down. I still see at least two of the guys, that was in the chat very actively supporting Crawford yesterday. And I did tell both of you guys that I'm going to do this today. And you guys can feel free to come on the broadcast so that you can have your opportunity to speak your piece. No, it wasn't no shots, Michael Salcido. That's how you pronounce your name? You have been respectful, Michael. I agree with you. No, I didn't say you were throwing shots at me, Mike. You were respectful, but you're a Crawford fan, and I want to ask you some questions. Only like 2 or 3 questions. It's not a lot, but I'm sure you wouldn't mind, Michael. Come on down. The link is in the chat, though. It's in and I pinned it right to the top. I pinned it right up there, so when people are joining the live, they can just click, bang, they click right on it. You know what I mean? Took me a while to learn some of these features on YouTube. The Roller Tape Film crew members, you all know this. I am still the YouTube rookie. But I've been getting better at learning all of the nuances, or at least most of them, on how to, put videos together and do the links and pin them to the top. Y'all remember, y'all saw how I didn't know all that stuff, and here I am now, and I'm still learning. Some other stuff I don't know, but I'm waiting for at least 3. This don't make no sense now because I see a lot of Terrence Bud Crawford fans in the comment sections, in the chat. And I'm sure that somebody have a question that they want to at least ask me, or at least some questions that I have to ask them. We have Michael Saucedo. He's in the background. He is here live. He has his camera on. Thank you, Mike. I'm going to allow you to join the stream. Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How's it going? What's up, Marty?
Welcome, sir. I am doing well. How about yourself, sir?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Good. Let me do this real quick, Mike. We have AM Sports Media in the chat. Salute to my guys at AM Sports Media. Every time I see someone who's a content creator, I think Dub Rightside is here. I was talking and running my mouth. I want to acknowledge Dub Rightside as well. Every time I see a content creator in my chat supporting the channel by way of viewership and or in the chat, I always acknowledge my counterparts as well. We got D. Mitchell in the back. Hold on, D. Mitchell. I'm going to let you on. Let me give Mike his opportunity, and then I'll bring D. Mitchell on. So, Mike, let me make sure that that the link that I put up is for Terrence Bud Crawford fans right now. I am going to open the panel pretty soon for the other topics we're going to discuss tonight. Are you a Terrence Bud Crawford fan, Mike Saucedo?
Yeah, I'm a fan of Terrence Bud Crawford and Earl Spence, but yeah, I would favor more towards being a Terrence Bud Crawford fan. Correct.
Okay, cool. Let me make a deal with you, Mike, because I want to be fair. D. Mitchell's in the back. I want to give him an opportunity to come on as well.
Okay.
If I ask you a question and you're not particularly honest, is it fair to say that you would have to jump right off if you're not honest? Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
My guy, I have a question for you. But before I ask you a question, you're here now. I'll let you go first, Mike.
With a question or a comment?
I mean, you were very active in the chat yesterday. You were defending Bud Crawford. You were saying things. You were respectful. I'm not saying you were not respectful to me. You were respectful, but you were defending Crawford. And so, I wanted to get your perspective since I have you on here, live.
Okay.
Since you're here, you're not on the chat. You're here live. So what's your take, brother?
Yeah, my take was kind of just like I didn't see your I seen one of your interviews with YSM Sports Media, but I didn't see the other one where it was I was just looking right now and it was titled Crawford gaslighted, something like that. I didn't see that one, so I can't really speak on what you said there or anything like that, but I could speak on like the backlash that Terrence Crawford was kind of getting for the things that he was saying on the interview with $1 million worth of game, where he was kind of criticizing like Spence's resume and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like I was like I wouldn't say like all the way understanding, but I could like kind of see where he's coming from when he would say things like who has a Danny Garcia beat or something like that, or because when people talk about Earl Spence and Crawford's resume, they're probably talking about guys that Spence fought, like Lamont what was his name, Lamont Peterson, was that his name? Or
that Danny Garcia fought him, or that Errol Spence fought him?
Spence fought.
Okay, Spence fought Lamont Peterson.
Yeah,
Okay.
Lamont. I'm thinking when they're talking about Spence having a better resume, I'm thinking about them. Spence fighting Lamont Peterson, Danny Garcia, your Dennis Ugas. So with those, with like those guys in mind, those are and then like Sean Porter and Kell Brook, those are also common opponents that both Terrence Bud Crawford and Spence have. But my thing is kind of like the guys that do have like that name or whatever that Crawford doesn't have. I would say it would be like those three guys, like Danny Garcia, your Dennis Ugas, and Lamont Peterson. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't really see anybody else like that's outstanding other than those guys that are on Spence's resume. Like, unless I'm wrong.
Okay, I respect your perspective. I have a question on that since you brought up Kell Brook and Sean Porter. In your opinion, as a Bud Crawford fan, what was the purpose of Terrence Crawford fighting Kell Brook and Sean Porter?
Oof. In my opinion, I don't know. I feel like it could have been more so of it's those are both opponents that Spence fought before Terrence Crawford. I feel like it could have been a mindset or like, yeah, like let me fight these guys. Spence fought him too, and just like how opponents have the like they'll fight and they'll compare guys that they both fought. I feel like it was kind of just one of those as like Ryan Garcia and Fonseca and Gervonta Davis and Fonseca, like one of those, like kind of just wanted to get the same type of guy on his resume to see like what he did and versus what I did. Like because with Fonseca, if we're going off of the opponent that they both have in common, people would have thought that like Ryan Garcia probably would have had the upper hand on Tank Davis just because of the opponent that they had in common and the fashion that Ryan Garcia took him out in. I think it was like in a round or two or something like that versus Tank Davis. It went a little farther than that from my understanding.
Okay, understood.
And so I think, back to your question, I just think that the reason why Terrence Crawford would have fought or the reasoning to fighting Kell Brook and Sean Porter was kind of just to like let me show you what I could do to these guys versus what Spence could do. That was my take on my opinion on why Terrence Crawford would fight those guys.
All right, stay right there, Mike. I see Greg. I can't see his last name, and D Mitchell. I'm going to bring all of them on. I was going to do one by one, but I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. Have these two guys waiting too long in the viewership. I don't want them to be a little bit too anxious or just sitting back waiting one by one. I'll take all three of you all at the same time. Let me get Greg. Greg is on, and D Mitchell is on. Greg Swan. That's your name, Greg Swan. Am I pronouncing that right?
Manager Marty, it don't matter. As long as you say my name, it don't matter how you pronounce it. You the man. Hey, if it's pronounced differently, we gonna pronounce it the way you pronounce it today, boss. This is your show.
That's
you
right.
Got it. I welcome you, sir. I will call you Greg.
Much respect to Manager Marty, period.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it. Mr. D Mitchell, can I just call you D?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Now, I'm going to ask you two, Greg and D, the same question I asked Michael. If everyone else can mute your phone so we won't have any feedback. so that the viewers can get all of this education and entertainment tonight. Now, D. Mitchell
Let's
and
do it.
Greg, let me ask you a question.
Is it
What was
Friday
the
night?
Huh?
Is it Friday night?
Is it Friday night?
Is it Friday night, boss? What's up, man?
No, I have a question for you.
Okay, what's the deal?
Well, first and foremost, D. Mitchell and Greg, y'all both are equally Terrence Crawford fans, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
I have the utmost respect for Bud. Yes, correct. As a fan, yes.
My man. Okay. I'll ask both of you the same question I asked Sean. What was the purpose, in your opinion? What was the purpose of Terrence Crawford fighting Kell Brook and Sean Porter?
The purpose of, I'll let my man go first. I'll be a gentleman. Go ahead, boss.
Appreciate it.
Excuse me. Hold on, D. Greg, can you mute your phone while he's answering so we don't get no feedback, brother? Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
All right, D. Mitchell, it's on you. What was the purpose, in your opinion, as a Terrence Crawford fan? What was the purpose for Terrence Crawford to fight Sean Porter and Kell Brook?
It's difficult to know, but I mean, I would assume that he wanted to show what he would do against them.
Okay, I understand that.
As opposed to what Errol did.
Oh, so you said he fought them because he was trying to outdo Errol Spence.
I mean, that's, probably. I mean, that's what, yes. You could not read into it too much and just say they were two of the best available.
Okay, understood. All right. Greg, in your opinion, what was the purpose of Terrence Crawford fighting Sean Porter and Kell Brook? Your phone is on mute, Greg.
The first thing I would note about the question you asked is that both of them are PBC fighters, right? Or were PBC fighters during the time, maybe? Yes or no?
Well, I asked you a question and you asked me a question. I asked you the question.
Yeah, but that's the answer to the question, though. If they both PBC fighters, right? And I'm Terrence Crawford, and I'm on the other side of the street, right? And I have never fought a lot of PBC fighters on Earl Spence's side of the street, right? So if I see what Earl Spence did, I know Earl Spence beat him. I know I'm on the caliber of Earl Spence, right? So if Earl Spence beat him, I know I could probably beat him. And not only that, I see some flaws. Maybe he got hurt since he fought Earl Spence, or maybe something happened since he fought Earl Spence that I could capitalize to make it more advantageable that I may win the percentage-wise, win the fight. Now, I haven't fought any PBC fighters, so when I fight the next PBC fighters, don't I got to make a real impact? Why? Because they're going to be comparing. I know, as Terrence Crawford, I know that they looking at the only way to compare me with Bud on the other side of the street is other PBC fighters that fought him, right? So if I could take the handicap ones, if I could take the ones I know Spence beat, and I know if I'm on the caliber of Spence, I could beat them, but also they have regressed or they have went backwards, which gives me an additional advantage over them. I'm gonna fight them. You ain't gonna fight them.
I see. All right.
Now if they if they knock Spence out, I bet you he wouldn't have fought him if they would have knocked Spence out. Hello, somebody.
You said if Kell Brook or Sean Porter would have fought and knocked out Spence, you saying Crawford would not have fought those guys?
No.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right, everybody mute your phones now. I want to produce some evidence on the point that I was making, and I'm going to put it on the screen so you all can see it so that you can understand the business perspective of what I was saying about the purpose of Crawford fighting Porter and Kell Brook. Greg, can you mute your line?
Yes, sir. Preach, manager.
All right, let's get down to it now. I'm going to put it on the screen here. Can y'all see that? Can everybody see that? All right, what I just put on your screen there, this is the record in the box rec of Amir Khan. This is the box rec of Amir Khan. Now, Amir Khan moved up in weight. As you can see, that's highlighted in the red. Follow me now, guys on the panel. He fought Canelo Alvarez on May the 7th, 2016. That's Canelo Alvarez, the real Canelo Alvarez, Saul Alvarez. Amir Khan moved up in weight and fought him. And then he took a 2-year hiatus. He hasn't fought professionally in 2 years. Amir Khan I'm referring to. And he jumps back on the scene in April of 2018 and then in September of 2018 against Samuel Vargas. This is the fight he fought before he fought Terrence Crawford. Now look in the blue. That's highlighted in blue. That's Terrence Bud Crawford. That's Amir Khan, who fought Crawford April the 20th of 2019. So now we see Amir Khan moved up in weight at a weight he should not have competed at, and he got knocked out by Canelo Alvarez in May of 2016. He takes 2 years off professionally. He comes back after a 2-year hiatus in 2018. Only a year later does he fight Terrence Bud Crawford in 2019. We've seen the results of that. That's Amir Khan. Now, I just switched it. Stay with me. Now, this is the box rec of Kell Brook. Let's see what Kell Brook did before he fought Terrence Bud Crawford. He fought Triple G. He did the same thing Amir Khan did. He moved up in weight, and we've seen the results of that. A smaller guy moving up in weight, like Amir Khan, small guy, moved up in weight, got knocked out cold by Canelo. Kell Brook moves up in weight against a stronger, bigger guy in Triple G who broke his eye socket. Fought him in the same year that Amir Khan fought Alvarez. He fought Triple G in the same year, 2016. September 10th, 2016. It's highlighted in red. Now, he fights Errol Spence Jr. Stay with me now, fellas on the panel. And then a year after that, he fought 2 times. And then he takes a 2-year hiatus off in 2018. He doesn't resurface back on the scene until February of 2020 against Mark DeLuca. And then 9 months later, he fights Terrence Bud Crawford. Let me go back to the previous slide of Amir Khan. This is Amir Khan. Let's go back. He moves up in weight. He fights a bigger, stronger Canelo Alvarez. He gets knocked out. He takes 2 years off. Comes back. He fights 2 times in the same year, 2018. And then a year later, he fights Terrence Bud Crawford. Let's go back to the slide with Kell Brook. Kell Brook, he moves up in weight, just like Amir Khan did. It's in the red now. It's highlighted in the red. 2016. He fights Spence a year later, because he went back down, 47. He fought 2 more times a year later in 2018. Does the same thing Amir Khan does, take 2 years off. Come back, but this time he fought 1 person. Then in the same year, he fought Terrence Bud Crawford. Y'all guys see what I'm talking about? Y'all guys see that? You can unmute it because I wanna make sure we all on the same page. You guys see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I seen it.
Okay. So now, if you see, would y'all agree with me that there was? I'm sorry. Do y'all agree with me that there were similarities between Amir Khan and Kell Brook before they fought Terrence Crawford?
That's similarity, yes.
So the similarity is that they both took a 2-year hiatus away from the sport. You agree with that?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
They came back and they fought 2 easier fights. You would agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you also agree that they both moved up to a weight that they really had no business fighting in, where they got knocked out or TKO Amir Khan by Canelo Alvarez and Kell Brook by Triple G? You two agree with that?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
What I just showed you all, Mike and D. Mitchell, and the viewers all around the world, is a strategy that matchmakers use all the time. What I just did was I used this moment to show that I'm not just throwing things out about Crawford because I don't like Crawford. No. What I'm doing is I'm trying to educate the public to see this is how matchmaking work in this business. So when I asked you both guys, what was the purpose of Crawford fighting Kell Brook and Sean Porter? The purpose was so that Terrence Bud Crawford can look good. Because, let me show you now, Brad Goodman is the matchmaker, Hall of Famer. I've been saying his name on this channel for a long time now. He is the matchmaker over there at Top Rank, Hall of Famer now. And what matchmakers do, they study the records of certain fighters so that they can put the opponents in the ring against the A side, who is promoted by this company who's investing into this A side fighter so that they can look good. Now, what I'm basically showing you is that Amir Khan, he was damaged goods. Kell Brook, he was damaged goods twice because he fought. Y'all agree with me. He moved up, got his eye socket broke from Triple G. Then he got the other side broke from Errol Spence. Bam, damaged goods. Amir Khan, he done got knocked out a couple times way before he even moved up and fought Canelo. And then they both came off of a 2-year hiatus before they fought Crawford. That was not done by an accident, putting them in the ring with Crawford. That was not by accident. Matchmakers are skilled. This is what they do. So I'm using this opportunity not to come at y'all, or say because we don't agree about Crawford. What I'm doing is I'm showing you why I say what I say about Crawford, because I understand the business. And now both of you have agreed with me that Amir Khan and Kell Brook came off of a knockout or TKO loss by guys that were too big for them to compete against. And they were coming off of a 2-year layoff before fighting 1 or 2 easier fights prior to fighting Terrence Crawford. You both agree with that, correct?
Yeah.
Mike does. D. Mitchell, he's shaking his head. No, darling. Come on, D. Mitchell. I put the facts on the screen, brother. What's going on, D?
Well, first of all, I would say you're good. You're good. You're good. I like I like the way you lay it out methodically, and and I could see how you could make that argument. But I mean, I could say the same thing about Errol. And full disclosure, I live in Austin, Texas, and I'm a big Errol fan. I just watch both of them fight and their styles. I just believe Crawford's gonna clip him while he's doing his thing. But he fought Kell Brook.
Errol Spence, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
What's the difference?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that, D. There is a difference.
Enlighten me.
The difference is when Errol Spence fought Kell Brook and when Errol Spence fought Sean Porter, he fought them with a purpose. And the purpose was fulfilled when he beat both of those guys. And I'm gonna show you how. When Errol Spence fought Kell Brook, he fulfilled the purpose and became the IBF champion. When Errol Spence fought Sean Porter, hold on, let me finish. I got you, D. I got you.
Was his eye socket already?
No, I got you. Hold on. When Errol Spence fought Sean Porter, he fulfilled another purpose by becoming the WBC champion. Yes, his eye socket was he did have an eye socket issue that was clear. Now wait a minute. Now the commission cleared. The commission and the doctors and ringside physicians have cleared that man to fight Spence because it ain't like he fought him 3 months later. Now,
right?
It's not like he fought him 3 months later. We're gonna pull his record up again. You see that?
Hold on, let me zoom in.
Look how many months went by before he fought Spence. He fought Gennady Golovkin September of 2016.
Right.
So 8 months later, he fought Errol Spence.
Right.
That's perfect. He fought him 8 months later. His eye socket was healed. That wasn't even the same eye socket that he messed up, from my understanding. Probably was the other eye, from what I was told. But the difference.
But hey, the eyes go together, man. You know that.
Okay, no problem. Eyes go together. But did I answer your question that the difference between Errol Spence fighting Kell Brook and Sean Porter, he fought them and became a champion after he beat them. When Terrence Crawford fought those two guys, he never received any incentives for it. You agree?
Outside of the money and outside the incentive.
Well, all fighters get paid when they fight.
Well, hold on.
But we can't say money.
Well, hold on. The incentive will be the money, obviously. And then secondly, the incentive will be for people like us to say, hey, look what he did to them and look what he did to them. That's, to me, that's the incentive. Now, you know,
did he knock him out? Did he knock him out?
Did who knock who out?
Did Terrence Bud Crawford knock out Amir Khan?
No. I don't remember that fight.
No, he didn't.
I don't remember that fight.
No, he didn't. He didn't knock him out.
Right.
But
I mean, well, let me see where you're going with that, because Earl ain't knocked nobody out either.
Right, but I'm just saying I don't gauge.
He'll beat him up if they stand right in front of him. But he ain't knocked nobody out either.
Okay, yeah, but see, I don't gauge fights. I'm only asking you that because that was the talking point you just presented. I don't gauge fights like, oh, well, since this fighter did this to him, the other fighter got to do better than. I don't gauge fights like that. When I judge fights, that's not my. I don't gauge fights like that because
now you
styles
saying
make fights. Styles make fights.
When you say you don't judge fights like that, you mean just as a fan,
as an amateur boxing judge, as a fan, whatever. I don't.
Well, I know as a judge you wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying,
fan,
right?
Yeah, all right, as a fan, as a fan, I don't say because Manny Pacquiao knocked out Ricky Hatton in the second round, Floyd Mayweather don't get no credit because he knocked him out in the 10th.
Absolutely.
I don't do that because styles make fights and different fighters go through different things and different training camps, etc. It's a lot that goes on with these fighters in their time of their lives. So I can't say because Amir Khan got knocked out by Canelo, Crawford should have knocked him out too. I'm just saying that was something that you just presented. So I was just commenting back on what you just
Well, hold on. I didn't necessarily present it. You asked what was the incentive, and I assumed that would be his incentive. But full disclosure, I do that. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I'll be like,
cool.
he knocked him out, but he didn't. So I do that. I will.
Yeah, to each his own. I'm not here to judge. I have another question for you guys, and you guys seem like you are mature. You guys seem like you're honest guys. I'll let you go first, Mike, and then D. Mitchell. D. Mitchell, you didn't agree to the disclosure. Mike did, so I'll have you agree or disagree. If you guys seem honest before the public right now.
Yeah, no. I heard when you asked him. Absolutely. If I lie, yeah, you can get me out of here.
All right, my man. Mike, I'm gonna start with you first. Have you ever heard? Let's just use from May of 2022, since we're in May of 2023. May of 2022 to May 2023, a whole year from last May to today. Have you ever heard Terrence Bud Crawford say one lie publicly?
Come on, man. Oh, let me mic my thing.
It's just a yes or no, Mike. You ain't got to be scared. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing. I'm the one wearing the vest. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing to you, bro. Have you ever heard Terrence Bud Crawford from last May of 2022 to May right now, 2023? You're a fan of him, so I'm asking you, have you ever heard Terrence Bud Crawford say one lie publicly?
I could say he said some things that I've disagreed with. Yeah.
I didn't ask you if you agreed or disagreed, Mike. I'm just asking you, just simply, have you ever heard him say a lie publicly?
No, I haven't heard him say a
You
lie.
haven't heard him. Okay, stay right there. I'm gonna get these 2 super chats. Hold on 1 second. Salute to my guy Toon. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. Toon says, sorry I'm late. He won't rematch Loma. They already pushing the narrative that he drained now that Tank on his blank. Apparently, Tank is an opportunist, though he said, I'ma holler at him after the Loma fight months ago. Thank you, Toon. And we're going to dive right into that very shortly, that topic of Lomochenko and Devin Haney and Tank Davis and the rematch and all those great things. Thank you for your support and your contribution, Toon. And then Toon also donated and contributed to the channel again. And he says, I can see I'm off subject. My bad. No, you're on subject, Toon. You're right on it because we're going to dive into those points in just a few moments. So thank you for your contribution to the channel and always your support so much, Toon. All right. So Mike gave us his answer. D. Mitchell, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just texting my wife. You know how it be.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. I completely understand.
Yeah.
All right. So, D. Mitchell, I'll pose the same question to you. Let's just go back 1 year from May 2022. Don't make me laugh, D. Mitchell.
I'm not, but
of May of 2020. We're gonna start there. From May of 2022 all the way till today, May of 2023.
Right.
Because you're a Crawford fan, so I can ask you this. Have you ever heard Terrence Bud Crawford say one lie publicly? Yes or no?
It'd be, that's a difficult question because I'm not in a position to fact check. You understand?
Okay.
So you would have to get specific, and then I would have to, because I'm not, you could ask that. It's difficult to answer, man.
It's only yes or no. I only gave you 2 options. I know. Gave you 2 options.
I know that's your
it
MO.
Can't be that difficult. You know what I mean?
I know that's how you operate. I ain't mad at it.
I'm very direct, brother.
It is direct, but it's still you still box the person in with the question.
Oh, yes.
But anyway, hold on. Now, let's just say recently, right?
No, I just went back a year. Just 1 year. I
No. I'm saying I'm going back only a week or a couple days on the what is that called? The $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, right?
All right.
Where there's a discrepancy of Crawford saying, "Hey, nobody reached out to say they wanted to fight me." And then Boots says, "Well, man, I've been saying I want the top guys. I've heard Boots say I want the top guys. I want Crawford. I want Spence." But like you say, okay, so you could say Crawford's lying because because Boots said that, and we've heard him. He's on video saying it like months ago, years ago, that he wants Crawford, right? But if it hasn't been if Steven Espinosa hasn't come to Crawford with Crawford's team, whoever is representing Crawford, and tried to get a deal done, then who's lying?
You heard that other side of the street comment that Bud Crawford made? Since you brought up $1 million worth of game podcast, you heard that?
Jog my memory.
Okay, on $1 million worth of game, Bud Crawford, he made a statement about the other side of the street.
Oh, where that came from? You talking about that didn't come till he started? Till he?
D. Mitchell you was being honest earlier, D. Mitchell. Now, come on, talk to me now, brother.
That's the part you're talking about, right?
I'm just saying, you brought up $1 million worth of game. You brought it up.
Right. I'm just confirming you're saying that he's lying when he says he's the reason the other side of the street talk started becoming prevalent.
D.
Right?
Mitchell, you heard what he said, D. Mitchell. Was he lying when he said that?
Yes. However, but hold on. But see, he's talking in colloquial, like, you know, when you chopping it up, you mean I'm the reason why. Boom, boom. Recently, let's be clear. Hold on. So you can't be black and white. You got to have there's some nuance and some gray area. Recently, I'd say within the last 5 years, that's what I believe he was talking about. I don't think he's saying ever in the whole history of the world, I'm the reason why they talk about the other side of the street.
So you just agreed and said he lied about that. You agreed.
Correct. If we got Jesus or Allah or whoever then yes, I'm gonna say yeah, he lied.
Well, so that
but hold on. Let me add a little context.
Hold on, D. Mitchell.
Oh, go ahead.
You're trying to wiggle out of it now.
No.
So that meant that when I asked you, did he lie within a year?
Yes.
You said he lied a few days ago.
Well, look, man.
Oh, D. Mitchell.
Come on,
D. Mitchell, brother.
Man, them East Coast boys, something else, man.
D. Mitchell, got to go. Mike, appreciate you. Got to go. Now, I done asked both of them guys. Y'all heard me. I love entertaining. Woo, I can take my vest off now. Nobody gonna throw no shots at me now. I asked both of those guys when they first got on here. I gave them a disclaimer, and they both agreed. Y'all heard them. I said, if you lie about any answers to the questions I'm going to ask you, you agreeing that I can kick you off. Both of those guys said yes. Salute to both of those guys. I appreciate those guys. This is all a form of entertainment, and it's a teachable moment. And I hope y'all learned something. But I had to keep my word and kick them guys off because they both agreed that Terrence Bud Crawford lied within a year. And not only that, D. Mitchell came out and he said he agreed that Terrence Bud Crawford lied just a few days ago, $1 million worth of game. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I love when I do this. Oh, my goodness. All right, well, we just proved that some, maybe not all, but some Terrence Bud Crawford fans just can't be honest and keep it 100. They just can't. They will sit here with a straight face. Oh, those guys look so genuine, didn't they, y'all? Roller tape film crew members, didn't they look so genuine in the beginning? But when there was time for them to come to the table and deal with the facts and be real, their allegiance to Terrence Bud Crawford superseded integrity and truth. My goodness. Schizo Paul, salute to you in the chat. Oh, man. Well, I did my part. I opened it up so that you all can be on public display of what Manager Marty deals with. And we'll keep doing this segments. I'm going to call it the Crawford segments. And then when I do my lives, I'll have 2 or 3 more other Crawford fans come on. Oh, yes. Oh, it's just great entertainment. Y'all saw how I pulled up Amir Khan's record and Kell Brook's record. I want y'all to learn something about this business. The matchmakers do what I just did, but they do a way better job than me. I am not qualified as a matchmaker, and neither is the other one, the advisor to the matchmaker. But anyway, I did that because that's how the matchmakers allow the fighters of the promotional company, who's the A side, to get away with looking good in their fights. It's not personal, it's business, okay? And so that's the purpose of Crawford fighting Kell Brook and Sean Porter. That was the purpose of Terrence Crawford fighting Amir Khan. That was the purpose. There was no other incentive. But when Errol Spence fought Kell Brook, the incentive was the IBF championship title, and he got that. When Errol Spence fought Sean Porter, the incentive was the WBC title, and he got that. So I rest my case on that. Now we're moving forward. Rematch or no? Devin Haney won the fight officially against Lomochenko. Lomochenko is on record in interviews saying that he wants a rematch. So I would like to ask you all in the chat, if you're watching the replay of this live, I would ask you all to comment in the comment section below. Should a rematch take place between Devin Haney and Vasily Lomachenko? I'm asking you all in the chat. Let's engage about it. Should a rematch take place between Vasily Lomachenko and the undefeated champion of the world, Devin Haney? Because this was a very controversial fight, according to some people. Now, you all know I had it 7-5, possibly 8-4. That's what I scored the fight in favor of Devin Haney. But of course, some other people believe that Lomachenko won. So because it was controversial, should they get a rematch? Should they have a rematch? Yes or no? In the chat, I see a couple of people saying no. Some people are saying yes. So we have a mixed crowd right now. Should there be a rematch between Lomachenko and Devin Haney? Okay. So somebody's saying no, somebody else saying yes. Should there be a rematch? Just so you all know, the link is still pinned in the chat. But we're going to talk about Devin Haney. What's next for Devin Haney? We're not going to talk about the 3 contestants that was on this live broadcast. We've already dealt with them in the whole Terrence Crawford debacle. So now we're moving on with the broadcast with Devin Haney. And what's next for Devin Haney? Okay. So most people are saying no. Some people are saying that's what champions do. That's what great champions do. They rematch. So we have a split audience here. All right. So now let me allow you all to listen to what Devin Haney said in the post-fight press conference after he fought Lomachenko. It's just only for like 1 minute. I think it's like 1 minute and 20-some seconds or something like that. And then I'm going to render my verdict from a business perspective on what Devin Haney was saying and what he really should do. Don't take my word for it. Roll the tape.
One more for me. Shakur Stevenson is the one person who continues to say your name. He got into the ring and you guys exchanged some words. What was said there, and do you see you and him crossing paths at some point?
Yeah, I just said that I'm number one. I just let him know that I'm number one, and that's when he said for now. But right now I'm number one. So
Let me stop right there. He said that Devin Haney got into the ring after they fought, and before he went into the locker room, he told Shakur Stevenson that he's number one. Shakur Stevenson says, for now, I have an issue. The issue that I have is that Devin Haney, after he won against Lomochenko, he should not have gotten out of the ring so immediately. Because when Stevenson won his last fight in his hometown, in Jersey, where he had a large fan base, he called out Devin Haney. And then Stevenson came to Vegas to this fight between Haney and Lomochenko. And Devin Haney was in his hometown of Las Vegas, where he resides, to my understanding, or at least where he was raised, to my understanding, and he did not counter Stevenson while Stevenson was right there after the fight. But instead, he went out of the ring and went in the back. I have an issue with that. I'm going to tell you why. Because we've seen both Stevenson, Devin Haney, and his father, Bill Haney. They both were in dialogue with each other on social media. I think it was someone else's YouTube channel. Champside, I believe. Somebody told me it was Champside a few months back. Champside's channel. Okay? Champside's boxing channel. I think that's the name of it. Champside's boxing channel. And they were going back and forth. It looked like it was a FaceTime between Bill Haney and Stevenson. And then Devin Haney, he popped up on the screen as well. So it was all three of those guys. My point is, there is a long history between these men. And when someone's in their hometown and they call you out as a fighter, and then you go in your hometown and fight as a fighter, you are expected to call that other person out that called you out, especially when you're in the same weight division. Now, someone would say, Manager Marty, I don't see why that needs to happen. Somebody in the chat just told me that was a guy named H Money's channel. Okay, I'm sorry, I thought it was Champside's boxing channel. But it was H Money's channel, according to Big Ray. And who was the other person that just corrected me there? B-Dog. Thank y'all for that. I'm not sure who H Money's channel is right now offhand, but H Money, I thought that was Champside's. So, all right, my fault. So that was H Money's channel, H Money's boxing channel that spoke on that I guess allowed those three guys to be in the FaceTime. Now, somebody can say, oh, Manager Marty, don't be picking on this person and that person. No, what's good for the goose, good for the gander. I'm the same one. Watch this now. When Errol Spence was in his hometown after he fought Ugas, he called out Crawford, right? Okay. And when Crawford was in his hometown, several months after that fight, he was in his hometown against David Ebenezer. And he was supposed to call Spence out, right? Okay, then. So that's the same thing I'm saying about Devin and Shakur. See, ain't no. I'm a fan of this fighter, so I'm going to sit up here and be biased. No. That's why I always give business perspective first at all times. Business-wise, Errol Spence called out Crawford while he was in Texas after he fought. Crawford fought David Ebenezer in his hometown in Nebraska after he fought. He's supposed to come right back at Crawford. Crawford was supposed to come right back at Spence. Shakur Stevenson in his hometown, he won. Right? He won. Called out Devin Haney. Devin Haney was in his hometown right after Shakur fought. But he didn't do the same thing. I have an issue with that. Especially when y'all both had private conversations on the phone and y'all was on social media platform going back and forth. So it's only right after you fight, even if the fight's not going to happen next, just to build a promotion, to get the paying viewers, motivated to want to dig in their pocket and buy it. That's promotion. Because I told y'all before, and I'll tell you again right now, fighting on regular ESPN or regular Showtime is totally different from fighting on ESPN Plus or pay-per-view and Showtime pay-per-view. Why is it different? It's different because a pay-per-view audience is a different audience than regular casual fans who's watching just on regular network. Totally different. This is why Terrence Bud Crawford can go on ESPN, regular broadcast, and get 2 million views fighting Kell Brook. He can fight someone else, get 1 million views. But when it's time for pay-per-view, he doesn't sell that well. Because there's a different type of audience that you're making an appeal to. Okay? So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Let's move on to the interview.
Bob ain't said his name.
I didn't. Yeah, Bob hasn't said his name at all. But
stop. Bob ain't say his name. See, this is the issue that I'm having again. This is not a shot at them. We talking about business. And what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Because when Crawford did this, I said the same thing about Crawford. And I'm going to say the same thing about them. Remember when Crawford said, they keep asking me about Boots and Ortiz. Their names never came up. Remember when Crawford said that? Okay. I criticized him. So Devin Haney and Bill doing the same thing. There's not no knock on them. I'm just keeping it all the way on it. Oh, Bob ain't never bring his name up. Or Bob didn't call us. Or Bob. Y'all your own bosses. Just like Crawford said. Well, he said he was his own boss, right? Devin and Bill say they're their own bosses. So don't nobody have to come to you first and call you up. Want to know why? I'll take my glasses off for this one. Because this is talking about managers. Because Haney-Stevenson had good representation. Doesn't he? Haney-Stevenson, doesn't he have a manager? I hear crickets. Yes, he does. Jay Prince is his manager. So why do Bob Arum got to make a call and bring their names up if all Bill Haney got to do is pick up the phone and call Jay Prince, the manager, and get the deal done? See how simple this is? I'm just keeping it all the way 100. We got to call a spade a spade. Thank you for contributing to the channel again, Toon. Thank you. Toon says, is it worth Tank fighting Haney? Even though he said he was staying at 35 for the rest of the year, they both free now all of a sudden. He can't make the weight. That was from Toon. So we don't want to hear, well, Bob ain't never called us and tell us. Their names never came up. That's the same thing Crawford said. Their names don't have to come up. Shakur already called you out in his hometown. That's good enough. He's in the 135-pound division. That's good enough. Y'all have a history together. That's good enough. That's 3 points. And point number 4, Haney-Stevenson have a good manager in Jay Prince. That's good enough.
Bob ain't said his name. My phone ain't ringing.
But no.
See? Bob ain't say his name. That was Bill Haney. Bob ain't say his name. My phone ain't ringing. Your phone ain't got a ring. Not from Bob. Now, if you would have said Jay Prince ain't called me, then I could understand you saying that.
What's the name? Of course, I've been very vocal about that. Me and Shakur are on a collision course. Whether it's at 135, whether it's at 140, whether it's at 147, we definitely on a collision course.
Time out. We're on a collision course. Whether it's at 135, whether it's at 140, and whether it's at 147. The fans, the paying fans. Remember, I'm talking about pay-per-view, y'all. I'm talking about this is how you build a promotion. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roller Tape film crew. You don't build a promotion with a Shakur Stevenson versus Devin Haney, waiting for both of them to get finished at 35, get finished at 40, and then compete at 47. Absolutely not. Shakur Stevenson just got to the 135-pound division. So the likelihood of him moving up to 140 is very slim. The likelihood of Devin Haney moving to 140 is great. Strong possibility. There's a disconnect there.
And we definitely going to get it on when the time is right.
Devin, congratulations. I have a question. Given everything you go through to make 135, what you've admitted.
Stop. He said we both. Let me rewind that. Hold on.
Short of a fight against one of those names you met.
What's the name? Of course, I've been very vocal about that. Me and Shakur are on a collision course. Whether it's at 135, whether it's at 140, whether it's at 147, we definitely on a collision course. And we definitely going to get it on when the time is right.
When the time is right. Well, when will the time be right? I'm not saying that he should fight Devin. I'm not saying Devin should fight Shakur next. I'm not saying that. But he said when the time is right. So I'm trying to figure out what would be the right time. I'm not saying it should be next, but I just want to know when will be the right time.
Devin, congratulations. I have a question. Given everything you go through to make 135, what you've admitted, short of a fight against one of those names you mentioned, or a Tank Davis or a Shakur, if those fights are not possible, would you be more inclined just to move up to 140?
Yeah, if I can't get those fights next or it doesn't make sense for it to be next, I'll probably go to 140, test it out.
Stop. If I can't get those fight next, he was asked about Tank and Shakur. And if those fights don't make sense, I just want to stop it right there. Why wouldn't a fight with either one of those guys make sense? Now, someone can make a case and say, well, Shakur just got to the division, so it might not be ripe now. Cool. But it makes perfect sense to fight Tank Davis next. Yes. There's no possible reason that it would not absolutely make sense. Not if you are a free agent, because this was his last fight with Top Rank, right? Okay, great. So he's a free agent again. He's not locked into a promotional agreement with any other promoter, as I know of today, when I say free agent. So the time is perfect now. It's always going to make sense. Anybody that fight Tank Davis is always going to make sense. You know what kind of sense it's going to make? Dollars and cents. Tank Davis can fight Hector Garcia, and it's going to make sense because Hector Garcia is going to walk away with a big payday. Might not make sense to Tank fans. Tank Davis can fight Isak Cruz next. It's going to always make sense. Might not make sense for some of the boxing fans, but it's going to make dollars and cents. Promise you that. If Devin Haney fight Tank Davis next, it's going to make a lot of sense. Dollars and cents. So when Devin is saying it has to make sense, it makes perfect sense. It's going to be Devin's biggest payday, and he's going to get the biggest exposure that he's ever got as a professional boxer. And we all know that both of those elements are true. So it's going to make sense. Dollars and cents. It's called prize fighting. So him not fighting Shakur or Tank don't make any sense, especially Tank. So my personal business hypothesis is that Devin Haney should fight Tank Davis next. Now, there's an even more tumultuous relationship between Tank Davis and Bill and Devin Haney compared to Shakur. Because while Tank Davis was promoting his fight with Ryan Garcia, we got to keep it all the way on it now. Bill Haney was on other people's social media platform here on YouTube, and he was throwing a lot of shots at Tank Davis. I seen like a 20-second video where he was in some kind of store or something. I don't know, it was a clothing store, a jewelry store, some kind of store. And he was throwing shots at Tank even more. You know, I'm not going to repeat some of the things I remember him saying, but my point is, y'all can't be beefing with people, and when the time is right to fight them, say it's got to make sense. No, it makes a lot of sense, especially when it's back and forth going on. Oh, yeah. It makes a lot of dollars and cents. Can you all imagine Tank Davis fought Hector Garcia at the beginning of this year? Caleb Plant fought David Benavidez a few months after that. Ryan Garcia fights Tank Davis a month after that. Can y'all imagine Terrence Crawford fighting Errol Spence in July? And then at the end of the year, Devin Haney against Tank Davis? Can you imagine where the sport of boxing would be? That's from January to December of 2023. Those are major fights that I just mentioned. I'm not including Hector Garcia and Tank. That wasn't an expected fight. But Ryan Garcia was. David Benavidez and Caleb Plant was. Terrence Crawford against Errol Spence is. Devin Haney versus Lomochenko. Big fight. That's 4 right there. Can you imagine them closing a year out with a Tank against Devin? This will be the most busiest and most talented and productive boxing year in decades. Just my personal business hypothesis. So the next fight that Tank Davis should be fighting is Devin Haney. And to my understanding, from what I'm hearing in the background inside, is that there are people that's making a case for Devin Haney to fight Tank Davis. Or let me reframe that, for Tank Davis, who it looks like his team is initiating the process to fight Devin Haney next. YSM Sports Media, what's up, champ?
Let's go, Marty.
Thank you for telling me in the chat, because I have my iPad that's blocking a little bit of my phone, so I can't see. I didn't know if someone was in the background or not. So I apologize for the delay, my brother. How you, brother?
It's cool. I'm chilling, man. This probably gonna be the only time that we're gonna disagree. Right?
Okay.
It has to make sense. Marty, you know what code word that is, man. It has to make sense.
What that mean?
Marty, that means they got to be talking the right amount of money. I've heard that too many times. Yeah.
You don't think Devin Haney will make a lot of money fighting Tank Davis, YSM?
I'm gonna say this, right? Me making the most money I've ever made and me making market value for said fight, for a fighter of my caliber, is 2 different things. Perfect example. When Eddie Hearn offered Deontay Wilder $12 million flat to fight Anthony Joshua, that is 3 times as much as Deontay Wilder would have made, right? But that wasn't market value for an Anthony Joshua fight for a fighter of Deontay Wilder's caliber. So Devin Haney hasn't even gotten an offer from Tank Davis's people, nor have talked on the phone with Al Heyman to determine what they're going to offer. So it has to make sense. Is they got to be talking the right terms.
Well, even you know this, YSM, we both can agree on this part. that Al Heyman get the deal done.
Yeah.
So Al Heyman is definitely going to make sure that that Devin Haney is going to get the fair market value. I don't think they're going to lowball Devin Haney. I don't think that they're going to play games with Devin Haney. That's not how they do business. I mean, you know that better than anybody. But I'm just saying, like, he's going to get a fair deal. If he fights Tank, that's just my personal business hypothesis. He's going to get a fair deal. If he fights Tank, he's going to get the fair market value of his dollar. And on top of that, it's not like Devin Haney is just going in a room by himself. I mean, Bill Haney, he knows the business, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, Marty, I think that Al's going to do right by him. But the fact of the matter is they're not even in contact. So I can't just say, oh, yeah, I'm fighting Tank Davis next when I haven't even talked to Tank's people to discuss these terms.
Right. So then my point is, with all that talking and all that beefing that Bill Haney and him was doing, get on the phone now. Let's set this up for the end of the year. That's what I'm saying.
Sound good. Coming from my end, there's a side that's interested, right? And then from the other end, the other side's interested. So let's just see what happens. I don't like to see this hasn't been a 3-4 year saga, so I can't treat this situation like Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence.
Yeah, no, I agree.
This situation has just materialized to where as though now we got to see exactly where they take it from. As far as like the Shakur Stevenson, while I'm not going to get mad for him saying the names never came up, is Shakur's under Bob's umbrella, right? So Bob is basically saying what he'll pay for and what he won't pay for. So if Bill and them is saying that Bob really isn't interested in Shakur versus Devin, that's not on them. Bob's putting the money up. It sounds to me like he's interested in Teofimo, Josh Taylor, and versus Devin Haney, and Shakur Stevenson versus Lomochenko. That's just my opinion.
Right, I agree with you, but that's just Bob. That's just Bob Arum trying to keep the money in house, like he always does. So I'm not expecting him to do anything different, and that's why I was saying I don't think that Devin Haney should fight Shakur right now, because like you said, he's still with Top Rank, but of course he has the great Jay Prince as his manager. But what I'm basically saying is, at this point, the next fight that Devin Haney should be fighting, and it don't have to be like right away. We're talking about like next month or nothing. And this is not the same as a Crawford versus Spence hype. So I agree with you. But with the history that these two guys have, I mean, take it in this regard. Devin Haney called Tank Davis the paper champion when he was on $1 million per game. I think that was about a year ago or September or something of last year or somewhere around there. So it's not like, these guys don't know about each other. They didn't have a beef or, going back and forth on social media, etc. Tank Davis called Devin out on social media, vice versa. Bill Haney as well. So it's like all are calling each other out. Now they both are in a position where they can actually make something happen, at least at the end of this year or even at the beginning of next year. That's just what I think.
No, I feel you. If both sides are interested, let's make them phone calls. I'm interested in seeing how is Al going to attack this situation, because I know what I would do. Like, you just signed a three fight with Bob, right, for George Kambosos. Sign a 3 fight with me.
You better believe it. And I
get you that fight.
And I told you in the interview recently, you're going to publish it soon, that if Devin Haney want to make good money and do good business, I don't want to mess your content up when you throw it. That's why I'm not.
No, I already dropped that one. It's out if anybody wants to watch it.
Oh, you dropped it. Okay, so go check out. All right, great. So let me plug you in then. Go check out my interview that YSM so graciously produced just, I want to say the other day, with my take on Devin Haney. And y'all go check that out. Subscribe to YSM Sports Media channel if you haven't done so already. And I thank YSM for always coming on. He's the guy that made me famous, y'all. Well, I'm not really famous, but when I say famous, I mean like being on YouTube, right? So what I said
Man,
then,
you the hottest man in these streets, man.
only when I'm beefing with people, because people be starting trouble with me, man. But but what I was saying was basically, Devin Haney can go right over there and do a 2 or 3 fight deal with Al Heyman. Why not? I mean, he's already done business with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. He's already done business with Showtime in the beginning. Before that, he's already done business with ESPN at Top Rank. He was already doing business with Matchroom through the Zone anyway. So he's got the Zone. He's got ESPN. He's got a little bit of Showtime in the beginning, and he can spin the block to be a part of Showtime's, family. And he'll have gained exposure from 3 different networks that have 3 different and some of the similar audiences. And this is how you build a fighter. So I would say using his experience with being exposed to the Zone audience, being exposed to ESPN audience on multiple occasions from both platforms, use that leverage, go over to Al Heyman, go over to Showtime, make the big fights happen. And hey, he'll be exposed to a Showtime audience again, and he'll be a pay-per-view star because I think that he's young enough and he's in the right position to be a pay-per-view star. Devin Haney is, and he has so much great potential. So I say, why not go over there to the great Al Heyman and do 2 or 3 fight deal, just like Crawford did now, just like Manny Pacquiao did. You know what I mean? It ain't no different. Go over there and follow the blueprint. And the reason why I'm bringing up Pacquiao and Crawford, because they also were free agents after Top Rank, and they went over to they went over to PBC and Al Heyman. So why not Devin do the same thing? It's just good business, in my opinion.
Yo, I saw somebody in the comments say Dev is in a draw, right? At 24 years old, I can name a whole bunch of fighters that didn't do 150K pay-per-views, right? Especially in this climate. Now, is 150K great? No, but it's a good starting point to a young fighter who's just been introduced to the pay-per-view audience. In my manager Marty voice, I think it was 14,000 in attendance for that fight. So that's a good starting point. Last time I checked, Terrence Crawford nor Earl Spence was even headlining at that age. So I can see with the right building, by the right building, I mean Al Heyman, and this is no disrespect to any other promoter, but as far as his market goes, the urban market, nobody knows the urban market like Al Heyman, and nobody can make a black star like Al Heyman. He's done it consistently over and over and over, not even in just boxing. We talk about in anything. That's what he does.
I would totally have to agree with everything you just said. It just makes good business sense for Devin Haney to go over there. And Tank is already over there. Some of the big names is over there. Even Frank Martin's over there. I know you had mentioned that to me off camera, but even Frank's over. I know Frank Martin's a little bit too green right now. They're still trying to, build him up. It's just fighters over there between 135 and 147. Everybody, they just over there. Deem, you just joined in. What's going on with you, man?
Hey, what's up, Manager Marty? What's the deal, baby? Philly in the building. You already
Philly?
know. YSM Sports Media. I like and subscribe.
Oh, what's good, bro?
Year in the year. Like,
I appreciate that.
Even videos that just pop up on my notifications. If I ain't got time to watch them, I just come like them and dip out and go about my day. You feel me? So, what I want to say is, listen here, man. Gervonta Davis has changed the game in a way is like the promoters was in a way for a long time, Manager Marty, as far as the things that's going on in boxing and keeping fights from happening because cross promotions and things like that. After this Ryan Garcia and Gervonta thing, the fans, we don't want to hear it no more. See, you know how when you go outside and the clouds is dark and you could kind of tell the rain is coming, but it ain't there yet. Well, the rain is here in boxing. The promoters, they can only dictate it so much now because now the fans, we know that it's possible. All the excuses y'all used to give us about why this fight couldn't happen, why this fight couldn't happen, we have none of that no more after the Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis thing. And then especially when you announce Terrence Crawford and and Earl Spence now. The fans are from that. The tide is changing with social media and YouTube and Instagram and all of these things. Is not how it was 10 years ago. Fighters are not going to be able to continue to duck and dodge the best fights. They're no longer going to be able to dictate it because they're going to lose money. They think they're gaining money by building a lot of guys up. But right now, in today's time, if Gervonta Davis pay-per-view, it did not show you something, you are going to lose money by not making those fights that the fans want to see. It's a whole different time now. We are in an instant time, a microwave society. So if you're not giving people what they want, the fight going to die down unless it's two world-class people like Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford, and even that fight has lost a little sizzle. It's not as big. It would have been just as big or not bigger 3 years ago. Like, let's be real. So Devin has no choice, honestly. What you going to do? Go up to 140 when a lot of us think that you'll lose to a Regis Prograve anyway? What is that going to do for your career if you go up to 140 and lose to him? You might as well go towards the bag. Who doesn't go towards the bag? I don't care how hard it is to make weight. And YSM, I know that I heard you saying before, like, it's hard if he can't make weight. But my thing is, as a man, being from Philly, y'all know what it is. Listen, man, you say something, you got to stand on that. You can't look in the camera and talk about, I'm staying at 135 for Shakur Stevenson. Before that Ryan Garcia fight, Devin Haney was taunting, Bill Haney and them you couldn't get them to shut up about Gervonta. Like Gervonta posted, don't run now. Because you didn't walk out that fight as confident. I guarantee you, if Devin Haney would have lit up Lomochenko, knocked him out in the 5th round, they would be screaming to the heavens to get this Gervonta Davis fight right now. We still going to see it no matter what. No matter what, Gervonta Davis fight to be bigger than Lomochenko. You got 3 options. You could fight Shakur, rematch Lomochenko, or go to Gervonta Davis. This is not an option. This is what the fans want to see. Just go on your YouTube feed. You don't hear nobody saying they want to see Devin Regis.
Dean, I'm gonna say I'm gonna disagree with you in a certain point, right? All right. Do y'all remember when Devin was about to fight George Kambosos?
Yes.
You remember Tank doing an interview saying that after George Kambosos that if they can fight. You remember that?
Yes.
Did that fight materialize?
No, it did not.
All right. Was it Devin or was it Tank pursuing Ryan Garcia?
I feel from knowing what I know now, it's a little mixture of the both, because from what I've heard is Devin already kind of knew from dealing with his promotional company other fights that he might have to take after that fight was committed to. And then Gervonta, of course, I mean, look at the numbers. It was a smart move for him to do the right thing. That's all. So, yeah.
It was a smart move. It was Tank's the A side, Dean.
Yeah.
You can't pick and choose when you want to be the A side and when you don't. Tank's the A side. Tank chose the Ryan Garcia fight. But you said as a man, you got to stand on that, right?
Right.
So are we going to hold him accountable for not being a man of his word?
Well, I would interject and say this. But hold on. I will interject and say this, because I think this is as equally as important to throw this element in there, YSM, that when Devin Haney signed the contract with Top Rank, he, in that 3-fight deal, excuse me, he knew exactly who the 3 fights he was going to fight. So not giving Tank an out, but we got to look at the whole element. If Tank Davis would have said, like you said, after, you fight Kambosos, I'm going to fight you. Well, Devin Haney and Bill Haney and Bob Arum, they all knew that the 3rd fight was not going to be Tank Davis. They knew it was going to be Lomochenko way before they even signed the deal.
Gervonta Davis knew that he was going to a fight with Ryan Garcia.
I agree.
He still said it in the interview. It sounds good.
Well, let me
sounds good to get the fans riled up.
That's possible, but that proves Deem's point, though. That proves his point. Go to the bag, though. Like, okay.
No. My point was, he said Dev got to stand on that. When Dev said that I'll stay at 35, Marty, you know how hard it is to make weight. A motherfucker can talk all they want to talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there comes a point where you just can't do it. But Deem said that you got to stand on that. And I'm like, okay, cool. If you want him to stand on that, fine. But we can't pick and choose what we gonna have dudes stand on.
Yeah, I agree with that.
YSL, let
We
me
can't.
ask you this. I agree, but Gervonta will only not be standing on it if he wasn't calling him out right now. Gervonta is trying to get the fight. And you got to remember this part too, YSL. Gervonta said prior to the fight, that's the fight he would want next. After the fight, he has said that is the fight he's want next. And what I'm saying as far as stand on it, as far as I'm concerned, Devin Haney is not in contract right now. He could make this fight happen if he chose to. So my thing is Gervonta Davis didn't tell Devin Haney to look in the camera and say that I'm going to stay at 135 for Shakur Stevenson and them. Gervonta Davis didn't tell him to say these things. Gervonta Davis also didn't tell him to go on a whole media run about Gervonta Davis and a Ryan Garcia fight prior to that. So
and Devin Haney did not tell him to say after George Gambosos, he'll be next. And Gervonta Davis' team has not yet reached out to Devin Haney's team. So you making a little a TikTok post is not, in my Marty voice, is not proper business. You got to reach out. So until he reaches out, right now it's all fluff.
I have to agree with you, sir.
But let me ask you this,
we got to be fair. So
the fight just happened from both of them. We both know what Gervonta is dealing with legally, the whole situation. Devin just got out of the ring. So let's be honest, they're not going to send a contract today. It's going to take some time anyway for them to send a contract. Let's be real.
I didn't say anything about sending a contract, but you can, but you cannot say that a dude like that Tank is pursuing it when there hasn't been a phone call made. That's the first start before a contract sent. You gotta agree to terms. You gotta start talk. So we don't know if Tank's pursuing it. Thinking about it and being interested in pursuing it, that's two different things, man. That's what I'm saying.
But why
hopefully go ahead.
Reason would Gervonta Davis have to not pursue it? He has all the incentive. Devin didn't look phenomenal in the last fight. We know that.
You think he has all the incentives? What's the incentives?
That Devin didn't look the best last fight, what would give Gervonta more confidence that he could beat him. Would you not agree with that part?
Not really, but go ahead.
Okay. He has all the belts.
Yes.
People
Tank don't care about belts.
But that is an incentive of as far as marketability. If Tank don't care about it or not, that's null and void. I'm talking about the popularity of that adding to the fight. That it'd be
but you saying in regards to Tank, you're mentioning something that he really has never valued.
No, I mean,
but continue, bro.
What I mean is Tank does not have an actual fight on the table right now, as we know. If everything is like Scrabble, is right there, they get the pick. What I'm saying is Tank has every incentive to want to fight Devin. Devin has the belts. He didn't look the best the last fight. We know that Tank is a dog. And let's be real, who else does the fans want them to see? And if you look from Tank's side, they've been doing every interview. So I'm not saying, I understand your point as far as like, Dean, people can say whatever they want to say, but until they put it in black and white, it doesn't mean anything. But my thing is, that it has to, we also can't act like Tank. We also can't say anything about Tank not wanting that fight, because it'd be a big fight for him. He'll wind up being undisputed. His popularity will go through the roof for beating another top welterweight. That is a lot of talk around that fight between them two. There's been a lot of back and forth, with explicit language, as we'll say, between the two. So Gervonta has every reason to want to fight the guy. Gervonta's not talking about going up the
I gotta stop.
Devin's talking about that.
Okay, whoa. The reason why Devin's talking about going up to 140 is because Devin's never moved up in weight. See, what we're not going to do is, it's not going to be okay for certain dudes to move up in weight and certain dudes not, right? So Shakur moved up twice. Tank's moved up twice, right? these are the same dudes that moved up in that has moved up in weight because of missing weight. So we expect a 24-year-old that's been at 135 pounds for 6 years to not eventually move up. That's not fair, yo.
But why?
That's that picking. Wait. No, I'll let you cook. That's that picking and choosing, right? Just because you have fights that you want to see at 135 pounds, it is not fair that you have that you want to keep Dev there when you know it'll be to his detriment. See, with a lot of guys are fans of certain fighters, and then they'll want their fighter at a complete advantage. Eventually, Dev's going to show up one day at the weigh-in and be a dead body. Well, we kind of already saw that, but he's going to go in the ring and get cooked because he stayed at 135 too long. And then what is everybody going to say, Marty? Oh, man, you should have moved up. Why'd you stay? You should have moved up. But then at the same fans double talking, oh, well, the reason why you want to go to 40 is because you're ducking Lomochenko. Now it's Shakur. Now it's Tank. It's always going to be somebody. And if Tank really wants to fight, he's the A side. Reach out.
I agree.
He's the guy.
I agree, YSM. Here's my take. I never once said that Devin should stay at 35 to fight Tank. I don't care if he fight him at 135 or 140. I don't care if the belt is on the line or not. And I was telling you that earlier because Tank, he don't need no belts at this point. They can fight at 140. If Devin Haney moves up to 140 and he fights Regis, I'm going to be disappointed in that. Now, if he moves up to 140 and he fights Tank at 140, I'm cool with that. That's good business because he can vacate those titles at 135 and let Shakur, do his thing there, and then Shakur eventually will move up also. So I'm not saying that his next fight should be at 35. If he can't make the weight, and I told you this privately, YSM,
we had a whole talk about this.
Right. So if he can't make the weight, I'm okay with him moving up. But his next fight got to be Tank irregardless. That's just me because y'all was going back and forth. Bill Haney, he was agitating the situation as well, even when everybody knew that Tank had a fight with Ryan Garcia. That didn't stop Bill Haney from doing his thing. That didn't stop all the social media hoopla. All that's done now. Tank don't have a fight right now. Neither do Devin. So if they both want to move up to 140, make it happen. But I just want Devin Haney to fight Tank next. It don't matter if it's 140 or 135. But if he can't make the weight, move up to 140. But his next fight should be with Tank, regardless.
Hey, why
me and Marty was already talking where we wanted this fight next, right? Do I think we're going to get it next? No, I think Tank is at a point in his career where he can fight anybody and make a couple dollars. I likely see Isaac Cruz as next, and maybe Dev in summer 2024. Hey, Marty, can you tell me the logic in having these summertime major fights? Because I rarely see these huge fights in the winter.
Well,
that's a great question.
That's a good question. Let me answer it this way. You got to understand business when you start dealing with these big fights. And business states, we don't want to compete with no other sporting event. You look at in the fall, we got to deal with the NFL. You look at the wintertime, we got to still deal with the NFL. Because then now we're talking playoffs. Then we got to deal with the NBA coming around in the fall as well. And they carry this thing all the way out to about July. You know what I mean? So in the baseball's in the spring anyway. Then it goes through the summer. Bottom line is we don't have a lot of competition when we talk about American sports because we don't have to compete with different schedules. Let me give you an example. Let's say if Tank Davis wanted to fight, let's say Devin Haney. Devin Haney's from Vegas. Tank Davis, he does great numbers in Vegas, right? But let's say the Raiders is going to play on Sunday, and that fight will happen on Saturday night. That's a huge weekend. And we want the casinos to be able to comp rooms, make everybody available to gamble, do all kind of stuff without people having to worry about flying into town just to go to the Raiders Stadium on Sunday. They having all kind of different events that's happening on Saturdays, like tour days at these stadiums. We don't want to compete with nobody, with the airlines, with nothing. The summertime is the best time. And guess what? It's always after May because we don't even want to compete with the Mexicans or Canelo. We want June, July, August. That's vacation time for most people anyway. People already expecting to spend money anyway. Why not do big fights around that time when we have less competition with other American sports? So that's what that whole thing is all. And watch this. It's before September. You know, that's another Mexican heritage holiday. You know, where Canelo comes out. I'm just using Canelo. He's the biggest Mexican star in boxing. So what I'm saying is we don't want to compete with nothing, you know, before the summer and after the summer in the spring. I mean, after the summer in the fall. It's just less competition with American sports. It's just good business.
Okay.
And before you got to buy school clothes.
That's and you got to buy school clothes. Absolutely. So we wait till all the prom season, all the graduations over, when everybody's done all of that. Now it's time to focus on just one thing, and that's boxing. And that's why if this fight happens between Spence and Crawford, this is going to be probably the biggest fight of the year. Look at the timing. Great timing.
I just wanted to make this one point, fellas, because especially what YSM was saying as far as when it came to Devin. I remember Devin talking about how he was taking shots at Shakur and Tank for saying that he's too big and he don't need to be fighting at this weight class. That was part of their point, and he was saying, he was debunking that. No, they just talking trash. Tank missed weight. You know what I mean? He was basically shooting that down. We can't have it both ways, because from Devin's standpoint, making weight wasn't a problem. I heard him say that. For me, making weight's not a problem. Yeah. But now it is a problem. My thing is, you can make it one more fight to fight Tank. Like let's be real. You can make it one more fight to fight Tank. The reason why I don't think he wants
it don't have to be okay. He didn't fight.
Go ahead.
Hey, Dean, he didn't fight Ryan at 135 though.
Yeah, he did, but 136, 135, like, let's be real. And we know that a lot of that is because Ryan didn't want to fight at 135. It wasn't that Tank didn't want to fight at 135.
I understand, but you saying, you acting like he can't do a catch weight with Dev. And Dev has said
no, he can't. I wouldn't mind that. No, I ain't saying that. I'm saying that
before Shakur got but he struggled to make. He said over the last year he struggled to make weight.
I hear
that he's starting to have problems.
I'm saying that he be contradicting himself because I've heard him say that too. But I've also heard him look in the camera.
He does
like that. Say that that's not a problem. I also heard him say recently, "I'm staying at 135 to fight Shakur." So then when people ask you about it, you can't get upset when people say, well, you said this and you said that, and then be like, well, the circumstances and business. I'm just saying you can't have it both ways. At the end of the day, what I'm saying is Tank has been consistent. Before the fight, he said he would want to, before the Ryan Garcia fight, he said the next three guys he would want to fight, and he's been consistent on that since. I'm saying that.
But Dave, I pointed out a contradictory statement that Tank made. All them dudes is contradicting themselves.
But my thing is, YSM, me and you both know that Tank wants to fight this guy, especially now with all the hoopla around.
Yo, bro, the kid's been wanting to fight Tank for years. Tank's been a dude that's uninterested. Tank, bro, everything falls on Tank. It's not Shakur or Devin that will make the decision to get that fight. It's whoever Tank wants to fight when he wants to fight him. He's the guy. Now, if you get a situation where you hearing that the kids turn down the fight, then you can say that. But they haven't even been in conversations or gotten offers from Tank Davis or his team. He's the A side. When you are the A side, you dictate the terms.
True. I agree to
Well, he fought Ryan Garcia at a catch weight, so it shouldn't be no problem with both of these guys fighting at 140 because Devin can't make the weight. So let's just let them two guys fight next at 40. That's what I say.
Manager Marty, I appreciate your time. I ain't gonna hold you up too much longer. YSM, I appreciate you, man. You got one of the best YouTube channels out, man, doing your interviews, bro. I'm proud of you, man, being from Philly. You feel what I'm saying, bro? Keep doing your thing, man. Like,
what part are you from?
I'm from Philly, bro. You already know.
Yeah, what part? What part?
Oh, 40th and Powell. I used to live down the bottom, basically.
Okay, all right, man. Appreciate you, bro. I really appreciate the love, man.
Man, you
Appreciate your
already know.
support.
Great
We got the
conversation.
bottom
Bro.
in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great conversation, bro.
Hey, Dean.
Yes, sir.
Man,
I appreciate your viewership. I think this is your first time jumping on the panel, man. So salute. We had 3 guys from Philly on the show. First time ever.
right?
Hey,
Marty,
Philly in the building, man.
he had some
That's
real
your
good
boxing.
points, Marty.
Huh?
He had some really good points, yo.
Oh, absolutely. You got to come back, Dean, anytime,
I
bro.
will. Your manager, Marty, I just got hit to you from watching YSM Media. You know what I'm saying? And then I found out you, and I just heard a lot of your points. Like I said, man, we real recognize real. When you open your mouth, people either gonna gravitate towards you or they not. You understand? And you ain't really have to do no work. YSM giving you the interviews and stuff like that made me subscribe to him, which made me look you up, which made me, and then now we here. So I'm gonna support my city. And tell all them guys to stop ducking Jerron and Stephen Fulton. We out.
Say no more.
He has some good points, man. He has some good points.
Man.
Dev and Bill, they do double talk, and you gotta be consistent, right? All them dudes double talk to me, but Dev, one moment I'm staying at 35, then the next moment I'm moving up. It gotta be just hit him with I gotta see how my body feels. Just leave it at that.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll definitely work. Because if he say that, we know that he struggles sometimes. So I don't think he should get criticized for struggling that weight. He's still young, man. Let him move up. Ain't nothing wrong with that. 140. And it's not like he's moving all the way up to 47. 140, that's cool. You know what I mean? Tank, 140, go up there. Because you think about it, Tank big too. So it ain't like he can't make 140. Let them both go up there and rumble. That's what I say.
All right, Marty, I need your expertise with this one, right?
All right.
If you are Devin Haney, what kind of offer are you looking for from Gervonta Davis?
Well, first of all, I got to look at what my numbers are. This is my, I'm inexperienced as a fighter with that pay-per-view exposure. When we talk about exposure, I'm talking about not just the numbers, but the dance partner. Fighting Tank Davis, he's going to be fighting another Black and or African-American fighter. We already know in American culture that the price point changes a little bit because when an African-American or Black fighter is fighting someone of a different ethnic group, you sell more. So now we got to say, okay, what advantages do we have? The advantage we will have is fighting Tank Davis. We know that we're going to be the B-side. The Haneys, we know that. We are the B-side against Tank. We respect that. But I think a respectable offer would be for Devin to go over to Al Heyman, let Al sign him up to a 2 to 3 fight deal. I think that because he is an undisputed champion, you can't negate that. That's a fact. It's not like he's just walking around with an interim title trying to get a big shot. Because if you think about it, if Hector Garcia gets an opportunity to fight Tank and he beat Colbert in a lower weight class, it should be no problem with offering Devin Haney a good deal as an undisputed champion. So I think fighting Tank, no less than $5 million. No less than 5. No less than 5 million. No less than 5. Fighting Tank Davis we talking about here. On Showtime's pay-per-view arm, no less than 5. And we gonna get the same. Because look, they went over to ESPN and did 3 fights with them with Top Rank. All right, we'll do 2 or 3 fights with Al. Nothing less than 5 million to fight Tank. Nothing less. Nothing less than 5 at all.
5 heavy on the points?
Oh, you definitely gonna be heavy on the points. I'm Black, and so is he. In other words, I'm saying that in this sense, not race. Remember, when I talk about Brace, I'm not talking about color. I'm talking about culture when we talk about business. If the other cultures will be able to maximize their earning potential with the points, oh, come on, I got 4 belts coming in. And nobody can put on a great show the way that Al Haymon does and make stars out of African American and or black fighters. So I know that, it's expected for y'all to be fair with me. So nothing less than 5 million. If I was managing Devin or being around them like that, not saying that Bill's not doing a good job, I'm talking about if I was around the camp, no less than $5 million, and you got to give me some points on that. Yeah, but I'll do you a solid. In exchange, we'll do 2 or 3 fights with y'all. We'll do 2 or
Would
3
you
fights.
would your starting point be above Ryan Garcia's, being that you are the undisputed champ and you're coming off of your first pay-per-view, whereas though Ryan, no belt, and has never been on pay-per-view before?
No, because once again, when we not talking about color, I'm talking about American culture. Because Ryan Garcia, even though he had no experience on pay-per-view, he has the Mexican fan base behind him. And when you have an African American or black fighter fighting, let's say a Mexican fighter or a fighter of Mexican descent, that fight is always going to be a huge money fight compared to African American versus African American. That's just the landscape of business, because the Mexican fan base are different from the American fan base. We're not talking color here, talking culture. In American culture, from American standpoint, we don't support our American champions as much as we should. Whereas though, let's say the Mexican fan base, they don't care if their fighter is 10 wins and 35 losses. They're going to buy the ticket. They're going to fly out to wherever he's going to be an opponent at, where he's competing at. They're going to buy the merchandise. They're going to do it all to support their countrymen. The same thing over there with the English. No different from other, like that's what other cultures do in other countries. They support their own, irregardless of the record or irregardless of how many losses they have. Compared to American culture, we don't support our American champions or fighters the way that we should as Americans as a whole. I'm not talking color, I'm talking culture. And so with that being said, Ryan Garcia has a huge fan base based on the culture that he represents. I'm not talking about social media following. I'm not going to sit here and act like that had nothing to do with it. But Tank Davis has a huge social media presence as well. So my point is, though, he has a whole country behind him that's going to support him, win, lose, or draw. So that's the difference between a Ryan Garcia and a Tank Davis. Whereas though Tank Davis would have to have those 4 belts, he would have to do, let's say, 150,000 on pay-per-view. That's what they say, and 14,000 people came to see him in Lomochenko. That's good starting out. But I can't justify just paying you more than Ryan Garcia when he has a whole country behind him, and the American culture don't treat our fan bases like we should as far as support. So that would be the only difference. And the Ryan Garcia, because hardcore fans in America, we'll buy the pay-per-view, but when it comes to other cultures, and watch this, let me show you this to prove my point. This is why I always say this, YSM. Devin Haney, Tank Davis, Terrence Crawford, and Adrian Broner, they all have at least one thing in common, and that is you won't find too many African American or black fighters on their resume. And the reason why is because of what I just said. It's because of the culture, not the color. So with that being said, because those are facts, when it comes to business and boxing, it'll appear that Devin Haney will have to work 20 times harder to get paid more than Ryan. But I think he's doing great being young. Even if he did sell 150,000, that's more than what Crawford usually sells. So that's actually a good thing. He's young. He's 20-something years old. He got all the belts. He's still building the stock. But to fight Tank Davis, he's going to make good money. And guess what's going to happen? He's going to be exposed to a large pay-per-view audience. He was already exposed with the Zone, already exposed with ESPN. Now do Showtime. And then he got 3 different audiences that's used to seeing him perform. And that's where he's going to have an advantage over Ryan Garcia. Because Ryan Garcia, yeah, he did have exposure over there with Golden Boy on the Zone, but he didn't have the exposure on ESPN. Devin Haney does. So that's where all the fans that he gathered from the Zone, that he picked up and obtained, all the fans that he gathered and picked up and obtained from ESPN, he can bring all them fans over to the Showtime platform, and they'll build him up even more. He's going to make good money. Devin Haney's going to be a star in this sport. To me, he's a special fighter. So just looking at it from the American culture standpoint, he'll make good money with Tank.
All right, I'm gonna ask you this, and then I'm gonna just go ahead and go to sleep. In your expert opinion, does Al do a showcase fight with Dav first to try to build him up before he does the pay-per-view with Tank, or go straight into a fight with Tank?
Well, it depends on the level of the opposition. Because with Devin Haney coming over with Al Heyman, we don't want to make sure we don't want him to come over and just go into, a dog fight and then lose his first fight out of a 3-fight deal. That's not good business. So yeah, we can do a showcase fight because we got to introduce him to the audience, right? So yes, do a showcase fight with him, but not with like top level competition with, let's say, with a Tank Davis, because unless it's like at 140, because there's no point in coming over to Al Heyman and PBC if you're gonna sit up there and fight the school bus driver up the street. There's no point of doing that because the fans are not going to want to buy into that. So it's got to be a competition that the fans will buy into, where it's competitive enough, but it's on a level that will prepare you for like a Tank Davis. Now, if you're not going to sign with Al Heyman, your next fight should be directly with Tank, just like that. But if you're going to sign with Al, 2-3 fight deal, yes, let them smooth walk him in. It's the same thing Top Rank just did. Top Rank knew he can beat Kambosos. That was done on purpose. They knew that he can beat Kambosos. They was not going to let him come over there for one fight, beat their champion, and roll out. It's not good business. So, but the whole setup was for Lomochenko to get the opportunity to spin a block to be a champion again. So that's how Bob and Top Rank killed 2 birds with 1 stone. That's just good business. So it would be no different going over there to Al Heyman and them. Ain't no point of coming over here fighting Godzilla if you're not going to stay with us. Now you're gonna stay with us. We're gonna make sure ain't make no sense. But if you're gonna stay with us for 2 or 3 fights, we're gonna promise, you're gonna get that Mayweather, maybe not Mayweather, you're gonna get that Tank. But before you do, we gotta introduce you and build you up to the pay-per-view audience over here, to our platform now. So it's just good business. I hope I answered your question too.
Yeah, you did. Appreciate you, Marty. Thanks for having me on, man. I love the platform, man. You my guy.
You're my guy too, man. You the one that made me famous. So thank you. Anytime you in the background, you guys stop my whole show for you, YSM.
Hottest man in the streets, man. Double up. I'm out.
Salute to YSM. You guys and ladies, make sure y'all subscribe to his channel if you haven't done so already. Salute to everybody in the chat. Thank you all for your viewership. Thank you all for your contribution. Those of you that supported the channel financially, thank you all for your viewership. The viewership was really, really solid this evening, Tuesday night. It is getting late. The chat was very engaging. Salute to everybody that came on to the broadcast, even the 3 gentlemen actually that came on that I asked questions about Terrence Buck Crawford. Appreciate your support and your viewership and just coming on. Thank you all. I hope you all learned something. I know I was dropping little Jews here and there. I hope you all got educated tonight, including the little entertainment, because that's what I do this for. I do all this for you all, and I salute and appreciate each and every last one of you all viewing and subscribed and even contributing to the channel. Thank you all for your support. Come back live in living color right here on Friday night. Okay? Come back Friday night with another what I always say? Unknown. There it is. Another unknown episode of Roll the Tape Podcast with Manager Marty. We will be right here again on Friday evening. Thank you all. I hope I didn't hold you all too long, and I hope you all learned something that you did not know about the business and the sport of boxing that you did not know before you encountered this channel. I love the way that you all engage in the chat and support. Salute the Boss Hog Boxing. I just seen you late, man. I always try to make sure I, shout out all the content creators that's in the chat when I see you guys. And ladies, thank you all so much. I look forward to seeing all of you back again right here Friday evening. God bless you all. Till next time, I'm Manager Marty. Salute.